All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw. We are live from the 704 once again for episode 250 of the 815 exchange. And well, I mean, it was an interesting week, wasn't it? You know, we had WNBA's back. We got an actual segment, all right? It's the new era. It is a new era. All right, so we got an actual full WNBA segment to digest, all right, with opening weekend and everything that happened and is happening currently in the W. All right, NHL, who's going to the conference finals? All right, we also got a game 7 tonight. All right, well, technically last night when you're watching this, but tonight, all right, that we're going to preview. And of course, we got, the Western Conference at least, settled. Eastern, we don't know who's playing Carolina. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. And of course, in the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, it could be nothing else except for the NBA playoffs. We got who is going to the conference championship. So we'll be talking about those 4 series and how those went down, who's MVP. We still don't know technically, but they did, I guess, technically play for that, I guess, in a way. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. And of course, we got a loaded roundup to talk about. But yes, all right, ladies and gentlemen. It's always remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, all right, if anything you are looking for in this life can be found in my description. Timestamps, long-form content, skip ahead in the video. Also in my description, of course, my social media links to anything you can find in the description as well. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have things to attend to. And we're going to start off with the W. Yes, we're going to start off with the W, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and we're going to start off opening night. Listen. Phee is different. All right, we're going to talk about one of the best players in the world. I'm going to go out and say the second best player in the world, maybe even the MVP favorite this year, depending on how you feel about Asia and Caitlin. But we're going to talk about Asia and Caitlin. But yes, all right, Nafisa Collier completely spoiled Paige Becker's rookie, her debut, whatever you want to call it. All right, Minnesota takes care of Dallas 99-84 here. Phee had 34. She is a superstar in its purest form. Absolute purest form. A top tier. Again, I think top 2 hooper on the planet, and she's 2. All right, I can't give her 1 because Asia is Asia, but she's the second best player in the world to me. Her scoring versatility, just what she can do defensively as well. And yeah, she showed off the full package. She was just, an absolute star. An absolute star, and this showed why. This was not necessarily Paige didn't have her welcome to the W moment in this game, but this was very much so the way this game went was like, yeah, this is what it looks like to be at the top of the game. And now Paige, full faith she'll get there one day, but it's not now. All right, it's not now. It's going to take some time. All right, it's going to take some time, and she's had a lot of support. UConn fans are very, very righteous bunch. Y'all very, very supportive. All right, y'all very supportive. Nothing wrong with that, but y'all been talking crazy. All right, y'all been talking crazy. I get it. Won the Natty, so fairs. But people were kind of talking about Paige like she was going to walk in here. And, of course, we got the natural comps to Caitlin. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's going to be adjustment. Even for Paige backers, there's going to be an adjustment period. And, yeah, she didn't have a great game 1. But, yeah, rookie year, quick turnaround. We've seen this before. All right, we've seen the story before. She'll get better as the season goes on. But, yeah, she's going to have to definitely deal with that rookie struggle. She's not special. All right, she's special, but she's not, everybody gets it. Unless you're Candace Parker. And I guess Caitlin Clark at the end of last season. But Paige is going to have to learn. All right, and the Wings are not a great team, so give her time. But for now, Lynx do what as expected. And, yeah, Phee looks like a superstar, which she is. You know who else looked like a superstar on opening night? The new all-time season opener points leader for a single game, Kelsey Plum. I listen, Plum Dog is going to cook in LA. With her with the green light and as the potential to be the star in LA, playing alongside Rakia and Hamby and Cam Brink when Cam gets back, I feel like that's a perfect situation for Kels to really kind of be like, you know what, I'm Kelsey Plum. We know you're Kelsey Plum, but let me remind you, I think she was number 1 overall pick coming out, right? She was, all-time leading scorer in the NCAA for women, right? We got to remind, this is Kelsey Plum. This is a star. This is an Olympian, all right? Just because she was playing behind Asia and, she was second, third fiddle at sometimes. Let's not forget who this is, and I think she's going to flourish with the Sparks this year. And she did. Game 1, of course, they were taking on Golden State, who were not going to be very good. It was their first game as well, literally in the W. But yeah, Plum Dog had 37. They're currently playing Phee right now, and Phee is putting up numbers. But Hamby is cooking as well. So we'll see what happens there. But again, I think Plum is really going to have a big year this year for LA. We'll see what happens there. The Washington Mystics have been a big surprise. All right, 2-0 to start the season. They were not a very good team, obviously, last year, having the number 2 and number 3 overall picks. They went and got Sonia. They went and got Kiki. And so far, Sonia and Kiki both are looking like Rookie of the Year candidates. All right, a lot of people giving Sonia already Rookie of the Year shouts. She has looked good. Not really surprised, because I feel like playing beside Olivia and Hannah really kind of in her being able to establish her role and the presence she had on that Notre Dame team, I feel like that's a really easy transition for her to do what she does now at the professional level and be able to grow here with the Washington Mystics. So, yeah, not really surprised, but still very, very impressed by Sonia and what she's done. Seeing how Leah and Kiki's gel are going to be very, very interesting with the Mystics this year and see how that works out. That could be really special if they both, develop to what people think they can be. So, yeah, Mystics looking like they cashed out in the draft, as a lot of people predicted. But, yeah, so far, so good. 2-0 start. Maybe not what people expected, but, hey, go for the Mystics. Liberty and Aces, which, of course, has been the premier rivalry. Up until the game we're about to talk about, the premier rivalry, quote-unquote, of the entire league. Of course, they were once the two super teams, which, of course, now through ages, retirements, and trades, not the same, at least for the Aces anymore. But, yeah, the Liberty still running the show. Of course, it was ring day for them, the defending champions. They take care of the Aces here, 92-78. Stewie had 22. I think Natasha Cloud is going to do the bits. All right, she's going to do numbers on this Liberty team. She is such a great pickup. She's not necessarily plum, but what Natasha is able to kind of bring to the table, I think, is a really, really good fit for the Liberty. Saw here, 22, 6, and 9, did a little bit of everything. It was a big reason why they were able to win this game and pull away from the Aces here. Asia did Asia stuff. All right, she had 31 and 16. She's the best player in the world. The Asia one's going crazy. All right, new year, same Asia. Still the best in the planet. All right, still the best in the planet. Still probably should be your player, MVP favorite, even with Phee and even what we're about to talk about with CC. Yeah, still the best player on the planet, no debate. But the Aces definitely aren't that team that they were anymore. And I think we saw it a little bit here. Congrats to the Liberty. All right, off to a good start here in their title defense. But they're going to have a new challenger. And it's a challenger we somewhat expected. I mean, they get the press of a challenger, but I think we really found out how dangerous the Indiana Fever are going to be yesterday. We found out just how dangerous. And it was the most obvious of conclusions. The most obvious. I said it all off season. I said once Caitlin gets some time to rest and not hoop forever and ever and ever, just get in the gym, get right, get prepared after what she did in rookie year, one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time in the history of the W, and that was like, okay, might be the floor. Year 2 finna be a movie. And they got a team around her. This is the most talented team by far. Not just because it's the W, but just even in the context of college, high school, whatever level. This is the most balanced, well-built team she has ever played with. Ever. Unless you're counting like a Team USA, whatever team. This is the best team she's ever. This is Caitlin Clark, where she can still be Caitlin Clark. She can still be CC, be the engine, be what she is. But she's playing with Aaliyah Boston. She's playing with Natasha Howard. She's playing with Dewana Bonner, who in this game became the third leading scorer in the history of the W. We got Sophie Cunningham, who didn't even play in this game. We got Lexi Hull, who she has 99 Kim, shout out to FIFA with. It can get real wicked. And it got real wicked for Chicago. It got real wicked yesterday for Chicago. This was purely belt to, I'm not even going to lie to you, 93-58, and that felt a little generous to the sky because it was a belt. After that first quarter, oh my days. CC finishes with now, okay, fair, she cherry-picked it a little bit, 20, 10, and 10. All right, it's still a triple-double. She's third all-time in triple-doubles a year and a game into her career, which is insane. She hasn't played 50 games in the W yet, and she's third all-time in triple-doubles. Good gracious. All right, 20, 10, and 10. I was feeling 20 and 10. She just upped the beam on me. AB had 19, 13, and 5. Her, again, it's just, hey, good luck, man. Good luck. And it could have been crispier, right? This really could have been a 20, 10, and 20 game, all right? But, yeah, AB, she was great. The Kim is there. All right, they love playing with each other. You can see it All right, she was a little bit of the enforcer here for the incident we're going to talk about, of course. Natasha Howard, it's just a great pickup. Just a great veteran presence. Defensively, everything. Again, got to adjust to playing with CC and the passing. Had a few drops here and there. But I think she'll clean that up and, again, be a really, really key part of this team. Same thing with DB, who didn't play her best game by any means. And they still won by over, nearly 40 piece Chicago. So, and again, like I said, no Sophia Cunningham. no Sophie Cunningham. All right, no Sophie in this game. Lexi cooked up too. She nearly had a double-double. This was everything that could go right for the Fever in this game just about went right. And it could have been better. It could have been better. It could have been crispier. And they beat the Sky this bad. Now, of course, we got to talk about, if we're talking about the Sky and the Fever, we got to talk about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, all right? Now, Angel played a solid game, all right? She had, I think, 13? She had 17 boards, all right? I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. And I don't care how much y'all discount it and be like, oh, it's all for her own business. She's a generational rebounder. Rebounding is still a major part of basketball. She's an absolutely generational talent in that. I'm talking Rodman level talent if we're talking women in terms of rebounding. She's going to go down as the greatest rebounder of the ball. And that is a major skill in basketball. I don't want to discount that. That is a major skill. So I'm going to give Angel her flowers here. In my opinion, she's going down as the greatest rebounder in the history of the women's game. When this is all said and done. That record's going to be hers. The accolade, the status, it's going to be hers. Make no mistake about it. But not her best game. Not her fault, though. This Sky team very much so missed Kennedy Carter, and they were missing that offensive production. And I think if their shots are not falling, because you can't, Sloot is not Sloot. I mean, Sloot was never a great shooter, but Sloot is not like a star anymore. So I honestly can see the Sky struggling a little bit here without having that, great guard, energizing presence that, Kennedy brought to the table, even though she was a little bit of a headache and she's a character. But, they missed that. All right, they definitely missed that in this game. Of course, we had the flagrant foul on Caitlin, which was called correctly. All right, it was a hard foul. It wasn't malicious. She went, did the thing. And listen, all right, people, of course, are trying to make this a race thing. It's not a race thing. It's not even like an Angel hates Caitlin thing or a Caitlin hates Angel thing. All right, stop deep in it. Stop it. You're not going to at this point, but I'm going to say it just like they said it. Stop deep in it. It's really not that serious. All right? It's really not that serious. Welcome to the W. This happens. All right? These little altercations, just in basketball in general, but especially in the W. All right? We love it. All right? We love it. They're competitors. Caitlin is famously a competitor. Angel also famously a competitor. When they come together, there's a little bit of fire there. All right? And we get these little altercations, these little jabs. But they feed off of this. Both of them. They feed off the emotions of the game. They love it. All right? It's not like a competitive, it's not like a hatred thing. It's a competitive respect. And you know what? You gonna match my energy. I'm gonna come back with it. Now, Angel popped off because the foul, you can feel how you want. She was entitled to do that. All right? She got teched. It's basketball. All right? It's basketball. She went off. That's not the first time anybody has gotten, mad about a flagrant. Okay? And Caitlin handled that the way she was supposed to, right? She's a little bit more mature now. She went away from that situation, walked away, and a lot of people wanted her to stand to Angel. And she's just supposed to walk off. I'm Caitlin Clark. I'm a superstar here. Let me walk off. All right, I did my deed. Give me my flagrant, whatever. All right? Stop deeping it. It's not a race thing, y'all. It's not a race thing. We can have this rivalry, even though it's not really a rivalry competitive, if we're being honest. It's not really, look like a scoreless game. All right, it's not really a rivalry yet, at least. Until the Sky are more relevant or a better team, it's not really a rivalry. All right? But Angel and Caitlin can coexist. All right, they can coexist, and they can do these, have these moments, and we can have this rivalry. All right, with y'all making this a race war. All right, because I'm tired of it. It's tired. It's the Big 25. We can have Caitlin Angel discourse without y'all melting down on Twitter for a day. All right, we can do that. Can we do that, please? I'm trying to enjoy the W. They trying to do their thing. All right. I don't want them to lose their competitive spirit because that's what makes Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark being she's a prick. Caitlin's a prick. All right, she's famously a prick on the court. Let her be a prick. It's Caitlin. It's what makes her her. Angel, talk shit. She's a talker. She plays with emotion. It's part of the hustle, the game. That's what makes AR great. Let them, two legends could coexist, all right? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, Fever dangerous, though. All right, Fever dangerous. All right, it's about to get real wicked. All right, it's about to get real wicked in the W. I'm just saying, all right? If they, it's going to get wicked, all right? Don't rule CCL for that MVP, all right? And, she might be on that third best in the world behind Phee in Asia very, very soon. Very, very soon. Let's keep it going. All right, let's keep it going. Entertainment. I don't really got nothing to talk about. All right, Mission Impossible is next weekend. I'm going to try to see it. Maybe Friday. Maybe Friday. I'm going to be back in the borough on Friday because I'm actually going to the ACC baseball tournament to take pictures with my father and just hang out and have vacation for Memorial Weekend. So, I'm going to try to get to it, and hopefully we can talk about that next week for 251. But we'll see. All right, we'll see. Of course, you'll know by then. Music, nothing too crazy this week. Ian dropped I actually was really rocking with this. With Nino Paid, Get To It. Previewed it per Ian's usual standards for a while. Dropped it. I really, really liked it. Really, really liked it. It was good. It was fire. It's fire. Shout out to Ian. AJ Tracey dropped Paid in Full, which had a host of other grime artists, and it was solid. Solid. All right, so shout out to AJ. I think Zoo was on there. So, yeah, both of those made playlists. But again, nothing too crazy. All right, nothing too crazy this week in ENT. But it'll pick up next week. Still watching Gossip Girl. Still solid. I'm in season 3. Yeah, I'm in season 3. They're in college now, so we'll see. But yeah, that was ENT. All right, boys. All right, let's talk hockey. Yeah, let's talk hockey. NHL. Let's get to it. Western Conference. All right, we starting out West. Edmonton Oilers. Welcome to you're a serious team. You're a serious team. Not that you weren't. I mean, you literally just made the conference finals, I think, last year. All right, so that's not what I mean, but they are a serious team. Okay? Again, I just, as a sports fan, I have really bad PTSD from how Mike Trout and the Angels went. So, in the essence of having this all-time great player like McJesus and like we have with Trout, and seeing them on a team that's not winning championships, but at first was struggling a little bit to even make the playoffs. I had a little bit of PTSD that I'm working over, but it's fun to see McJesus do what he does on the highest of scales with the most attention, because when you're that good, you deserve it. All right, so I'm working through that still. But Edmonton, serious team. We knew this. Takes out Vegas here in 5. Did what had to be done here. Game 5 was a great goalie duel. All right, Stuart Skinner, Austin Hill went at it. All right, they went at it band for band. Went to overtime. And before Kasperi, when they got that goal, great duel. All right, so great duel. Flowers to the goalies. But Edmonton does get the win here. I mean, they dominated the series, looked in control. Was never really in doubt. All right, was never really in doubt. They will head on to the Western Conference Finals, and we can see if we can get McJesus and Dry into Stanley Cup Finals. But who will they be playing? Who will they be playing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in Game 6, we had the Dallas Stars taking on the Winnipeg Jets, and Winnipeg just felt vulnerable this entire playoffs. Whether it was Hellebuck underperforming yet again here in when it mattered, or what it was, or just them just not looking as good for whatever reason, despite winning the Presidents, as the teams they were playing. They just felt vulnerable, and it caught up to them. All right, it caught up to them here. Dallas gets the win here in overtime. Yet again, all right, 2-1. Harley has a day. Shout out to Thomas Harley. He had a goal, the game winner here. Also had an assist during regular time to set this thing up. Of course, the big story going into this Game 6 was even whether Mark Scheifele was going to play for the Winnipeg Jets. Did lose his father. Condolences, of course. Less than 24 hours before the game. So, yeah, people wondering if he was going to play. He decided to play, and then got that first goal, so that was a really cool moment. And then a really cool moment in the lines after, which, of course, traditional, a playoff tradition, should I say, here in hockey, where, both teams walk down the line, shake hands, give that respect. And, yeah, it was cool to see a lot of the stars, players, even besides, like, the headliners, kind of show that respect to Scheifele and kind of give them, give him some love, because that's a really difficult situation. I can't imagine losing either one of the two people I call my father. Like, that would be real tough. So, yeah, to do that, play a game, and then win in such an emotional game, credit Scheifele, man. Credit Scheifele. But Dallas does get it done in the D. 2-1. They will move on. They get Edmonton next. I'm going to be honest. I think the Stars are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals. Though, if anybody can stop the reign of momentum they're on right now, it is McDavid and Dry. It's McDavid and Dry. All right, the best duo in the league. They got the firepower. But, yeah, with Mikko playing the way he is, he's been on one leading the, Stanley Cup playoffs in points and goals. It's going to be interesting, all right? It's going to be interesting to say the least. But, yeah, Dallas, Edmonton should be a movie. All right, it should be a very entertaining series as well for neutral viewers. Carolina and Washington. Yes, sir. Hurricanes move on to the Eastern Conference Finals here 3-1. Shvek. All right. Andrei Svechnikov. I love you so much, Shvek. I love you so much. All right. Second in the Stanley Cup playoffs here in goals. He's been great. He's been a superstar. He was a superstar in this game for us. Though I do have to give a lot of love to one man, Jacob Slavin. Or Slavin. Slavin. Because I also love Jacob. To put it as simply possible, I also love Jacob. All right, there are very few defensemen on the planet I would trade for Jacob. Very few, very few, if any, right now, to be honest. All right, because the way he anchored this defense, not just here in Game 5, but just this entire series against Washington, and really helped us shut them down, make it easier for Freddie back there and between the pipes. It just was nice. It was nice. It felt good. I can't help, though, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I can't help but think, man, if Mikko, even though he wasn't playing great with us, but if he wasn't, if he liked Raleigh a little bit more or liked the Hurricanes org or whatever, we could be Stanley Cup favorites right now. But, we still got a chance at the dance, and we still got a chance to win this thing, so I can't be too much of a downer here. But, we advanced 3-1. Good stuff. 1-5. Now we get some time off. Because Game 7, all right, between Toronto and Florida, which, of course, I'm filming this on a Sunday, is tonight. All right, Drake did the whole thing, said, do I bet on it? Y'all decided to bet on it. So we'll see. Maybe the Maple Leafs are cursed. Of course, shout out to 2BC Productions, shout out to Johnny, one of my favorite YouTubers of all time. One of the first YouTubers I actually started really watching. It was like him and Chris Move for young Chris. But I'm sure he's going to be crashing out. If they crash out here, but they are taking on the defending champs in Florida, so we will see. All right, we'll see. Matthews scored a goal in Game 6, got back on the board, scored a beauty, by the way. But he's got to lock in. It's time. It's Game 7. Your stars got to be stars. And as we're about to talk about in the NBA, those stars showed up. So here in Game 7, Florida, they've been here, done that. They won the Stanley Cup. They got it. All right? I expect them to come in composed here. But the Maple Leafs, and one of the biggest moments for that city, one of the biggest moments for that team in a very, very long time, it's time for those stars to show up. So I'm talking to Austin. I'm talking to Marner. I'm talking to Willie Nylander. They got to show up. All right, they got to show up. That's all I'm saying. All right, we'll see. No prediction, but we'll see. Maple Leafs, Panthers, who's playing the Hurricanes in the conference championship. We'll see. But, NHL playoffs definitely continuing to ramp up as we get closer to that final. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is, of course, time for the main event. So let's talk about it. And unlike what we did at the NHL, we're going to start on the East Coast here. We're going to start closer to home here for the boy. And before we talk about New York, we're going to talk about who they're playing. All right, the Indiana Pacers took care of the Cleveland Cavs in 5. All right, they are just on one. Particularly Tyrese Halliburton is on. I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it because I heard all of the disrespect about Holly all year long. And so at one point it was almost justified. But then y'all were just talking crazy. Like, bro was not an Olympian. Now, sure, he was the hype man on the Olympics team. He wasn't doing too much. All right? But still, this is one of the best young players, if we're still counting Holly as a young player. Still one of the best young players, certainly one of the best point guards in the league. And there was a lot of disrespect being thrown on his name. But there ain't nowhere for y'all to throw it no more. There's nowhere to throw it. 31 to close out the Cavs in this game. Sends them home at their home. Spider had 35, though, and we didn't even know if he was going to play, so shout out to Spider. But yeah, this Pacers team is real. All right. And it's not just Holly. All right. Andrew Nembhard showing up big time. Pascal Siakam cooking here. Aaron Naismith, even though he was inefficient, had a double-double, I believe, in this game. Miles Turner is Miles Turner. All right. So this is a very solid team. Solid bench as well. Of course, Benedict Mathurin, Obi Toppin. This is a solid team. With Holly playing like a superstar, it's not unthinkable with who we got left when we talk about this. It's not unthinkable to think, you know what? Maybe the Pacers, this feels like a new era. The way this playoffs has gone, and maybe Holly is about to make a statement and really elevate himself into that superstar label. So yeah, he's playing great right now. They take care of the Cavs, who a lot of people were bigging up. Took them here in 5. All right, 60 wins for nothing. All right, a lot of people were doing that. Your chain's fake.
meme from Bronny. But yeah, maybe the Bronny curse is real, by the way, for Cleveland. Maybe it's real. All right, excuse me. Evan Mobley, I do want to say here before I close this, did play very, very well. Has firmly established himself as one of the best big men in the game. He had 24 and 11. He was great this series. But yeah, Cavs just cannot get over that hump. Just cannot. Even in the East, just can't get it. Pacers are real. All right, pay respects. Pay respects. Ladies and gentlemen, New York is on the verge of burning down. All right, and this is the hottest New York City has been in a minute. You got Joey Badass crashing out on the West Coast. You got the Yankees and the Mets playing right now. Yankees won, by the way, yesterday. We're going to talk about the Subway Series in the Roundup, though. But the Knicks are good. The Knicks are really good. Jalen Brunson is the co-king of New York. And the New York Knicks are headed to the conference finals to take on the Pacers in a classic 90s series matchup, 90s rivalry right there, a little bit renewed. 119-81. This game, honestly, it wasn't as close as that. All right, I said 119-81. It was not that close. All right, this game was over in like the first quarter. I'm so serious. Knicks went up like 20 and it was over. Like you could see, like this was one of those games where you could see the spirit of a team like leave their bodies in the middle of the game. And really, it was barely there. This series was over the moment Jason Tatum's Achilles went. It was over. Respectfully. Even though the Knicks had a great performance here, by the way, all right? Those four guys with 20 plus, OG, Michael, Cat, JB, cooked up. Hart had a triple-double, so great job from the starting lineup. But this series was done. The moment JT's Achilles popped, again, condolences, by the way, for the boy, former Duke boy. So, my guy, I know there's a lot of slander on JT's name, but he's still one of the best players in the world. All right? And I think he gets a little bit overhated, in my opinion. So, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Sucks to see that. It sucks to see that kind of happen in the series, especially with him going out the way, dropping 42 on the way out. But, yeah, the moment that happened, the series was done, and the Celtics just did not have any fight left here in Game 6. And the Knicks took care of business. All right, simply put, they took care of business. Group effort here, even though Brunson, of course, gets the headlines. He's the king. But, it was a group effort. And, Tibbs played them probably a little bit too long. But the Knicks are still firing. All right, haven't run out of gas yet. All right, have not run out of gas yet. That was an epic, all right, an absolute instant classic side talk video that they dropped following this. But, yeah, Knicks have all the momentum in the world. They got Leeson Al-Gaib. Pulling up like the new Spike. All right, Timmy on a generational run still. Pulled up with Kendall and Kylie. Now, of course, Kendall may have been there for, Benito. All right, who pulled up for him with Game 6. But, yeah, this is the hypest. You got Ben Stiller. You got all the OGs. Spike's still there. It's a great time. What a time to be alive in New York City, man. What a time to be alive. But next place is going to be a movie. All right, somebody put that's going to be cinema. All right, cinema. All right, I cannot wait for that series. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get out west, man. Let's get out west and let's talk about it. Minnesota. I try to tell y'all, I don't know why y'all, I get it, Chef, but even if Chef was here, it wasn't happening. I'm sorry to break it to you. Wolves take care of the Warriors in 5. All right? Again, a lot of y'all bought into this hype once they got Jimmy Buckets. Again, PTSD. Similar to how I was talking about the PTSD with the Oilers. Maybe y'all have PTSD from the Warriors' dominance, but that ain't this team anymore. All right? That's not the same team we got now. Different time. A little bit older. Not as good. Sorry. So when Chef went down in this game, or not in this game, but went down in the series, his hamstring, knew what was up with that. He wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to make it. It was done. It was done. All right, and that's what happened here. Minnesota takes care of business 121-110. Julius Randle. We are just giving people their flowers today here in 250, man. Just giving everybody their flowers. All of the, overhated players in any league right now are just getting flowers today. Julius Randle, come on up. 29 points in this game. He has been great here in the playoffs. He has been that X factor that is putting the Wolves over the top right now. Now, Ant played a very complete game. One of the most complete games I've seen from Ant, by the way. He had 22, 7, and 12 assists in this game. But Randle has been the X factor for that team. Rebounding, defensively, physically, being a physical force down low or wherever he's needed. And then what he's done, scoring the ball on an efficient level, not just as like a tank commander, but like officially contributing to winning basketball has really changed the game here for Minnesota, and it's been really impressive to watch. So yeah, shout out to Randall. All right, shout out to Randall. He's been cooking. Pot had 28 in this game, but like I said, they were dead in the water. Kamuka had 26 in this game as well. Shout out to JK, played a lot better down the stretch here in the Warriors, especially once Chef got hurt. Showed some value that maybe keeps him around, or at least makes him a more valuable trade piece or asset for the Warriors to move. But nonetheless, all right, this was always the Wolves series, and they take care of it in 5. No Chef, though, so you can, if you want to put a little asterisk there, you can do it, but I don't think it really mattered. Minnesota goes to the Western Conference Finals, where they will take on, well, we have the MVP, since they still, for some reason, God knows why, won't announce the MVP, even though it was literally either going to be Jokic or Shai. We know it's SGA or Jokic. I don't know what's taking so long. Maybe y'all wanted to see this Game 7 to see who played better, and y'all were going to give it there. I don't know. But we had Game 7, winner take all. OKC, however, takes the win here, 123-93, which they better have. All right, Aaron Gordon was working off of half, if maybe that, of a hamstring. No reason for him to play in this game. Actually, there was a reason for him to play in this game, but credit where credit's due, because he easily could have set this out and it would have been justified. But nonetheless, all right, SGA is 35, looked like the MVP. He's that guy. All right, he showed up when it matters here in Game 7. MVP him, superstar him, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to the boy. Jalen Williams needed this. All right, J-Dub needed this. After the Game 6 he had, there was, wow. I mean, getting absolutely torched online, on the telly, getting torched everywhere. This could have been a very different conversation if he had not shown up in Game 7. But he did. All right, he was that Robin to SGA's Batman that he's been so many times and done so well as. 24 in this game. Now, Joker had 29 and 7, but was very quiet 20. Very quiet 20. A lot of free throws. And the Nuggets missed 35 threes. All right, OKC's defense, you saw it. All right. You saw it. By the way, number 1 defense, I believe, metrically, statistically speaking, in the league this year. It happened in this game. All right, it showed up in this game when it mattered here in Game 7, and they shut down the Nuggets. All right, simply put, they shut down the Nuggets, held Joker in check, and it was a very impressive statement Game 7 win, in my opinion, for the Oklahoma City Thunder. However, I still don't know if they're home free against the Wolves. All right, it's not going to get easier. It's not. The Nuggets had, again, an injured Aaron Gordon here, and then they have no head coach. It is not going to get easier against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's not. So they got to play a little bit better, in my opinion, earlier on in the season. Now, of course, Joker's better than Ant, but Ant is still a superstar. So do not get, you got SGA to maybe bounce that out, but, don't get ahead of yourselves. That's all I'm saying. But again, really good matchup between a lot of younger stars. Kind of like a new era, like I said. Ant versus SGA here in the Western Conference Finals. Should be a lot of fun. Should be very entertaining. And then, of course, we got literally WWE predicted it. Literally Holly versus JB. They did it last year before the season, funny enough. And then happens here in the Eastern Conference Finals. 2 of the best young point guards in the game. So, yeah. Very cool stuff in the NBA, man. Very cool stuff. Feels like a new era. We certainly gonna have a new champion. Sorry, Celtics. Get well soon, JT. Get well soon. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the roundup, and it was easy. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. All right, it was real easy for Max. This was really easy for Max. Really easy win for Max. I know a lot of people are like, oh, and a lot of people are like the announcers. I wish them getting their job. But I didn't really think Imola was that interesting, to be honest with you. Because, Max won this in the first turn. And then had, plot armor throughout this entire race with the safety guards. It was honestly a little bit funny. Just complete and utter plot armor for him to make sure he won this game. Or, excuse me, won this race. But, Max won pretty easily in Italy. Won pretty easy. 4 straight at Imola. Might be the last race, by the way, at Imola for at least a little while. So, Max back in the title fight. Not that he was ever out of it, but it's pretty firmly Max and the McLarens. That is your title fight here for 2025. And it should be interesting because all of them feel like they're pretty level. Feels like McLaren's got the best car, but Max is definitely the best driver in the world still. So we will see. All right, Lando gets second. Oscar just got a little bit unlucky. Did get pulled, but he won't convert this one. He does end up third. Still definitely feels like he's that number 1 driver in McLaren. But it's not that. It's still close. All right, Lando was not that far off. I know we've been talking a lot about it, but Even though it feels like Oscar's the one, Lando is still Lando Norris, so let's not discount it. But Max Verstappen is also still very much so Max Verstappen. And yeah, he takes care of business here. Ferrari and Williams is having a hell of a battle. Had a hell of a battle in this race. That was obviously the most entertaining part of this entire race, was seeing Ferrari suddenly get race pace, and then just start running through, particularly Lewis, through this entire field. And then Carlos Sainz just cooking up, Alex cooking up at random points throughout this entire weekend. So, yeah, Ferrari and Williams, it's like the 90s, are, dueling here. And horrible, very bad Grand Prix, however, for Kimi Antonelli. Even though Isaac Hajar had really good shots to the rookie. But, yeah, Kimi in his first home Grand Prix, not pretty. All right, not pretty. He just didn't have pace the entire weekend, and then the mechanical issue here closed. It was just no good, very bad. He'll want to forget that one. And boy, oh boy, does he have a chance to do it at Monaco. Can Charles go back-to-back? We will see, but we'll talk about that for 251. Next, Indy 500 qualifying going on. I have no idea who's on the pole, but I know everybody was crashing, all right? Colton Herta, Scott McLaughlin. There were some really bad crashes in qualifying this year. I don't know. I feel like it was more than normal. Not that it's like, something to, be like super worried about, but I'm just saying it was a lot of really bad crashes, which is honestly a testament to how well they've done with the safety in these cars, going at that speed and hitting the walls like that, and these drivers being able to walk out just fine or relatively fine. So, yeah, but Indy 500 properly next week. We'll talk about that. Of course, the biggest week in racing, Monaco, Indy, Coke 600. Talk about that then in next week's Roundup. Journalism. Keeping it with the racing, ladies and gentlemen, horse racing. Journalism finished second at the Kentucky Derby, but finishes first here with one hell of a race. All right, came from all the way from behind. Mr. Welcome Down walked down and won at the tape, so to speak, ladies and gentlemen. A very impressive, literally kick, so to speak, and just an impressive race overall for journalism, because they nearly got boxed out. Did a really good job. Shout out to that horse. All right, that was beautiful. Beautiful. All right, that was horse racing heritage, okay? That was the beauty of those animals. So, yeah, shout out to journalism, wins the Preakness. What a story that could have been if they'd, end up winning the Kentucky. But, hey, if they can win the Belmont too, not too bad. All right, that would be an elite club as well. Vardy Party, for the last time, all right? For the last time for Leicester City, he does get number 200 in his 500th game in a Leicester City kit. And it's his last one, of course. But yeah, really cool moment there. Other things going on in the Prem. It was Everton's last game in Goodson. Crazy ovation. Crazy thing to think about. The women will still be playing there. Don't worry, Goodson is not going away forever. But of course, Everton moving to a little bit bigger stadium. So we'll see. Elsewhere, what else happened? Cristiano Jr. scored his first 2 goals for Portugal. How funny would it be if he actually ends up being good? I think he'll actually be decent. I think just because of the work ethic that, his father, I'm sure, is putting through. Don't know if he'll be a superstar. Obviously, he's falling behind, probably the second greatest player to ever live. But, yeah, I can see CR's Jr. being decent. All right, being pretty decent. But, yeah, he gets his first 2 goals in a Portugal kit. Still time to choose America, by the way. He does have U.S. citizenship. He could choose U.S. I'm just saying. All right. MLB, Subway Series going on. Of course, the whole Soto versus New York. Or at least the Yankee part of New York. But yeah, Yankees-Mets, rivalry reignited. Judge is still hitting over 400. But yeah, Soto could maybe get some revenge. We did kind of cook him yesterday and cook the Mets. So we'll see what happens. You'll know by then. But yeah, Subway Series. Again, New York is on fire. All right, New York is absolutely on fire right now. PCA is quickly becoming one of the best and most exciting players. Best center fielders. I don't want to say best players yet, but best center fielders in the game and quickly becoming one of the most exciting players in the MLB. It feels like every time I wake up and the Cubs have played, there's a different PCA highlight. So we'll see. But yeah, definitely something to watch. Pete Crow Armstrong having his breakout for the Cubs. And to end us off here in the Roundup and to end us off here for episode 250, bringing it back here to the 704, we did have at Quail Hollow the PGA Championship. And of course, last year, Scotty Scheffler famously ended up in the back of a cop car. This year, he ends up with the cup in his hand. All right, this year, he wins the PGA Championship. So, yeah, won it by more than 3 strokes. Rahm tied him, but then just completely folded on the Green Mile. So that was that. All right, that was that. Scotty with a great surge on Saturday was able to hold on today and get it done. So, yeah, Scotty Scheffler, best golfer on the planet. All right, best golfer on the planet. He wins his first PGA, his third major, of course, 2 Masters before this first PGA. Let's let's get one more before we talk career slam. All right, I'll hold off on that. But yeah, good stuff from Scotty. And also Carlitos beat Jannik Sinner into that winning streak. All right, Sinner returning this, looked dominant. And then Carlitos, for again, Sinner is the most consistent player, but Carlitos at his best, in my opinion, is still the best tennis player on the planet. When Carlos is tapped in and locked in, there is not a better player to watch, and also just in general, there's nobody better than him. There's nobody that can touch him. I'm going to be honest with you. Well, I mean, Sinner and Joker can touch it. I don't know about Joker anymore, but, Sinner can touch him, so to speak, but it's not, there's levels, there's levels. And when Alcaraz is at that level, he's the best. All right, he's the best. However, Sinner, I will give credit. You got to give credit to his run he's been on. He's been the most consistent, and that's why he's been the best player. But, Carlitos is still Carlitos, man. Still Carlitos. He's running clay right now. French is coming up. We'll see if he can go back to back. But, ladies and gentlemen, all right, that is it for episode 250. This was a doozy. Hope you had fun. Have a fun Memorial weekend. Maybe probably a short weekend for some of y'all. Vacation you're taking, or if you're a company like mine, shout out, gave you time off. So, yeah, I will see y'all next week. But without further ado, Ocho signing off.